Welcome to Dasan, Season 5, Episode 5, where we watch The Floor is Lava. I'm Chris Lorenz, or Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz again.
Robert Kitts.
Annabeth.
I'm Harrison Hoffman.
Noah Singer.
Hey, this is James.
Hey, this is Volcanic Maxima.
Max!
That was pretty good, Max.
Harrison, give us the show description on this one.
Teams compete to navigate rooms flooded with lava by leaping from chairs, hanging from curtains, and swinging from chandeliers. Yes, really. That's The Floor is Lava on Netflix.
Yeah. It's a show. You know, it's kind of the best way I described it while we were watching it is an escape room mixed with Ninja Warrior.
That's kind of exactly right.
So it's a room set up so that you can go from point A to point B with a bunch of kind of traps and stuff, very easy kind of stuff, and you just kind of obstacle course it to the end. And there's teams of 3 compete, and what do they win, Max?
The Volcano of Victory or something.
$10,000.
And $10,000.
Nobody cares about the $10,000. You win the Volcano of Victory.
You win. To be clear, the Volcano of Victory is a standard issue red lava lamp. That's all.
What you win is the memories. You win the memories of being on the show.
Now, every time someone's over and sees that lava lamp, you get to tell them the story of when you're on this terrible Netflix show.
This goes on the mantle for sure.
It's like going to an arcade. You give them 200 tickets to get the plastic ring. But the plastic ring is the recognition that you won 200 tickets. That's the value.
Yeah, so...
The host pointed out there was another prize. The host said, and you get to meet me.
Oh, yeah.
Which prompted me to ask, who is this guy?
It's that guy.
No one knows. I still don't know.
Some people apparently know. I and Chris have no idea who this person is. Someone else fill me in.
Well, hold on. How many people know?
What's his name?
No, I don't even know his name.
His name
Wood.
No idea.
So does anyone... Who knows who this guy is? Noah and Max. And James.
Max and James.
Yeah. Okay. So first, let me tell you what he's famous for, but not why I know. He's
The
famous
Floor is Lava. Is that why he's famous?
He's famous for being a NASCAR commentator.
Oh.
Okay.
However, the reason I know him is he played sort of the James May role on Top Gear US.
Oh.
Yeah. He is usually less goofy than he is on the show.
And we got to roll back to this guy, but... So we have 3 teams. They go through this obstacle course, which I guess we'll try to describe. It's, hard to do. And, then when they declare a winner at the end, I don't know if there's anything they go one at a time. We'll have to just go over the minutia. It's hard to go a summary of the show.
You have a team of 3 people. You get 1 point per person that makes it to the end of this obstacle course. And if you fall in the lava, you're literally dead.
I really wish that they didn't actually come back. If they fell in the lava, they're not on the show ever again.
I mean, we're going to have a lot of lava minutia. I don't know if it's time now, Chris, or if we should hold it, but...
I think right now we need to talk about this host minutia.
Okay, let's do it.
Kind of in this host kind of thing. And this host was bad. Just bad.
You know what? I actually think this is really common in all of the Netflix reality shows where the host doesn't really do their own persona, they just do whatever's for them.
Yeah. The jokes are just so bad.
They're awful. This is Wipeout quality. Bad, shitty jokes.
Yeah, I agree, Max. He's definitely not writing this. It is scripted, and clearly the audience they're trying to pitch to would know who he is, because he seems very well known in the auto racing circles.
He doesn't even want to play off. You have to at least need two people for this. You can't just have one person like trying to make fun of these people and trying to like commentate on what happened. Like, there's a reason why you have two people.
So you want a play-by-play man, and you want a play-by-play person and a color commentator to, one is just
Two color
describing the action,
commentators,
and
like-
one is just, throwing in the barbs.
Yeah. Because then I have somebody that like I kind of get, and then somebody that I can just ignore if he's bad. Whereas this, all I could do is ignore the guy.
I have a proposal, though, for a better solution, which
Make
is
a better show.
what if the show had a podcast within it, critiquing the show in real time?
That
I
sounds
mean-
much better.
The show or the contestants?
What?
I think James meant the contestants.
Okay, because you said you wanted somebody critiquing the show in the middle of it, but they're part of the show.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The recursive.
So Max wants a podcast of people going like, "This show is lava. Show is garbage."
Go us.
Guilty as charged.
Oh yeah, that's the problem with like podcast shows about shows that are by the network, because they're always super positive. They never say a single thing negative. They're awful.
Why we need independent podcast media.
Yeah.
Netflix, buy us. We'll say all great things about your shows.
If you pay us, you definitely never say a negative thing about your show. All top thirds, maybe even top of the top. We don't know.
How do you go from NASCAR car reality show host to host of The Floor is Lava? Like, what? How did he audition? Are the Floor is Lava producers just big NASCAR fans? Like, why is this a similar question when like Jesse Palmer was the host of a random reality show? It's like, why? Like, what makes you say this is the guy I need to host my reality show?
He's a likable middle America dude.
It's just what the Netflix algorithm told them to do. Like, it's just like they crunched all these things and the concept of this show and who they want to watch it, and it just spit out this guy, and they're like, all right, I guess that's in.
I mean,
I
the
guess
one
it's
thing
fair.
about a lot of the Netflix shows we've watched is the hosts are barely in it. Whereas, like, the host has to carry this show. Like, you get a great host or two, hopefully. This show is, like, 10 times better.
Well, I wonder if this show is better with no host. If you're literally just like, you have some narrator who just like sets the scene, and then there's no sound other than the sound of what the contestants are talking to each other, is actually a better show.
I think you're right, but I do think that there are people that could make this show even better.
So you're saying if like Al Michaels was the host of the show would be much
Like, I don't know who it could be. Get like Norm Macdonald in here. Like, give me some real comedians, like making fun of these people, and then we'll see. But I agree with you. Just like the NFL, sometimes you just want them to shut the fuck up and like
Chris.
listen to what's going on.
It's
Chris,
like,
if you. Sorry, Harrison, go ahead.
I would say, I think that, like, I think the part of the whole interesting concept of the show should be, like, you're discovering what this room does, like, along with the people in it and stuff. And this host is just, like, constantly, like, ruining all this stuff. It's just like, oh, let's see if they're going to take that staff off the wall and do whatever. Oh, let's see if they're going to realize that this obelisk tips over. Like, I just want to experience it with them and kind of learn about it in the way they do. And, like, I think I agree with Rob. Like, I actually think it's a better show without a commentator or, like, a host. And I actually feel like I end up kind of just tuning out the host part of the way through and just I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you have someone that does straight play-by-play then? Or, like, just zero narrator, and you just have the contestants talking?
I think that it's all run through, so, like, they already have, like, a speaker that is inside, like, the room that is filled with lava that they give instructions to the contestant. I think that you just hear what they hear through whatever the speaker decides to tell them.
Is there even a speaker in the room? Like, basically they get told, walk into the room, then shout lava, and then go. Like, what do they need to hear anything from? They make it seem like the narrator's talking to them, but maybe he's not even.
I feel like there was a shot of, like, a speaker on the wall where it seemed like they were talking to him, maybe not.
No, they definitely had a shot of a speaker on a wall to make it seem like it, but I could totally see that just being a prop, and they don't actually have the guy talk to them. But all his stuff was filmed 4 months after they filmed everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
Because they meet him.
We don't know if that was the same day.
What's up, Max?
He's muted.
Max, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Do you mind if we shift gears a little bit?
I think we should talk about the first group of people, and then that leads us to the actual room.
Sure.
Great audio there.
Sure.
Max. I'll wait for you to think. All right. So we got our first throuple, 3 people. We got Shady and the twins. Which is Shady.
Dynasty?
Wait.
Like
Like,
Shady.
Oh, Shady. Shoddy. Sorry.
That's Slim
I
Shady.
just wrote it down, and I don't, my bad. Shoddy. Everyone's just laughing at me.
but we're
I had to be.
the silence of laughter.
The silence of laughter.
You can't hear all that laughter?
And Bryce. They are the twins. So we got a mom and their twins, I guess.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, college-bound twins.
Talia seemed really unhappy to be there. But she was like, man, Mom really dragged me to this Netflix thing, and I hate my life.
So,
Bryce seemed way more into it.
Brycey Bear was definitely into it.
Bracey Bear was pretty into it.
Yeah, Talia Ghul.
Talia, not into it.
Nah, she's so upset that her mom got her on a television show to win money.
For college. Yeah, so these 3, we get a great first introduction to this room, and, you go left, and there's these paintings on the wall. They're, not paintings, but they're, what are they called?
Specimens of dead insects
But they're,
Right.
mounted on the wall.
mounted on the wall.
But that's not what they're holding on to. They're holding on to, literally the wall.
There's a little ledge above, a ledge below, one for your hands, one for your feet.
So, every team just is oh, we gotta climb this thing and walk over and pull some sort of cord that is on the wall.
Tassel.
An osel?
Tassel.
Tassel.
Yeah. And it does something to the room where a mummy sarcophagus falls from the wall, but in reality, it's useless. It's the worst way to go.
okay.
After you go to that, they have these 3 giant Easter Island statue-esque things, and you go from one's horizontal, one's vertical, one's horizontal again, and you have to jump from the vertical one to the horizontal one, and it's just not an easy jump at all. And it's just way easier to not go that way. You don't have to go that way.
I do gotta say, it's not the worst way to go. The pyramid, I think, is clear it's the worst way, but that jump is menacing.
Well, let's go the other way. So the other way,
The
everyone finds this
people
painting.
that made the jump that Chris is talking about both wrecked themselves on the landing. One dude fell on his tailbone, and that looked like it hurt. And the other, the lady, the mom, this first group, smashed her chin pretty good.
I was feeling so bad for people throughout this entire episode. It seemed like they did not take the right safety precautions for this stuff. Everything seems there's some stuff that looks hard but it's actually foam, but a lot of the stuff seems like it's actually hard, and they're busting themselves all the time.
It's unclear how
same-
hard some of the surfaces are.
Yeah, they had that Tulsa Trump rally waiver going on here. Be come on in, you get fucked.
Man,
Deal with it.
I
very
have
topical burn.
no idea what anyone was talking
So the other way, they find this painting that's right inside the door. They're oh, this seems as a bridge. Oh, maybe we could use it as a bridge, which is a joke the host made. That's the level of jokes we're talking about from the host.
I think he made it more than once.
So they go through some boxes, and I don't know. Eventually, there's a pyramid in the center that they can use the bridge for, and there's also another box of crates that they can find a staff on the wall. So you need the staff so you could go to the pyramid and knock down the Washington Monument.
Obelisk, Chris. Obelisk.
No, our bros decided it was the Washington Monument.
We haven't talked about the bros yet.
And then there's like some sort of, I don't know, like baby carriage that they open.
Oh, Chris, come on.
An
It's
ark.
the Ark of the Covenant.
With their staff.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Someone has to see Indiana Jones.
And then
Yeah.
then there's like some rope on the ceiling with a bunch of shit in it. They have to hold on to get
A
to.
cargo net.
Don't ask me to name anything right now. While somebody like wheels the cargo net to the exit, and then that's like the end. But the optimal path is clearly to go from down to where you get the staff onto the Washington Monument to the what'd you guys call it?
Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant, because that was by far the easiest. But to do that, you did have to go to the pyramid to knock the obelisk down.
Right.
That was the hardest part. So, like, 2 people died because they literally died knocking down the monument by being on the pyramid. Because getting off the pyramid, you don't have a foothold. You're just like, how am I supposed to jump off this thing? Because it's like not gonna work.
Like all 3 teams, the one who went to the pyramid died in lava, right?
Yeah.
No one made it off the pyramid.
No one made, so the pyramid of death.
Yeah. Let's talk about this lava.
How lava-esque does it look, Rob?
It just looks like red water, but I love the commitment to the bit that it's lava, because
They really try.
when someone falls in, they edit it that they're just gone. You don't see them get out of the lava. You don't see they get cuts of people going, no! And then they're just gone. Like they got burned alive in lava, and it's great.
Like this woman lost her daughter. Like, it's wild.
I really do wish that they had fully committed to the bit, and that person is just not there in the post game interview or in anything, and like they really needed to commit to that bit fully.
We were saying they should be a Force Ghost.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
So like the very positive thing about this show is the commitment to the bit. It's like, remember that time you played Floor's Lava as a kid, and then this is real, and then you got to commit to it. Like they touched the floor, they're out. Get them out of there, and they should have been gone. It would have been way better. Although the Force Ghost would have been also not as good, but certainly better than them just being back.
I think the Force Ghost would have been pretty great. It's just like at the end they're meeting the host, and there's still one of them. They did some CGI thing, and they don't look like they're totally real. Like that would have been just such a nice touch on the show.
You're not allowed to have the volcano of victory. You fell in. You're out.
The one part of the bit that I thought was very creative, if you drop a prop in the lava, the prop is also gone. You can't use it, which I thought was cool.
I was curious if they were going to do like, if your shoe touched the lava, you were out. Because not only do they have just like water, they have like bubbling fountains like beneath, and like they would bubble up, especially over the cargo net as you were escaping. You definitely saw some guy get his shoes like covered in it from that, and it's like, I guess that's okay, just catch a little bit of lava.
Even one of the bros, like it did a big splash, and it definitely got on his head, and then he was just like, oh, and like that was a little bit of the lack of commitment to the bit of like if the prop lava just happens to spray on you for no fault of your own, you just ignore it. It's not like, oh, the lava sprayed up and got me. I'm dead.
We never really got into the scenario where like one guy just touched his foot into the lava.
Yeah,
because that would have been a hard like thing for the bit, right? Like your foot touches, immediately fall into the lava. Like what do we tell people to do with that?
How great would it be if it's like, okay, you're still in, but now that foot can't touch anymore. Like your foot is gone, and you gotta play like you have no foot. That'd be pretty fun, and then they definitely would be dead.
Yeah, they definitely did. Do you think the show would be better if they had like a Mission Impossible like floor, where like as soon as anything touches it, it's like brrrr, and everything goes crazy.
No, I like the lava bit. That
Lava
would-
bit's pretty.
Well, I think you have to have both. You gotta have both, right? But like once you go into lava, like there really wasn't like a big like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like all the lights go crazy, the floor changes. It was just like, oh, you're in. That's it.
Well, that's what happens when you die in lava, Noah. There's no celebration about it. It's just it's a sad end to your life.
They're sticking to the nature bit.
Yeah, have you seen Volcano? It's a great movie. People die in lava.
The whole show is the bit.
Hell yeah.
Once you give up on the bit, there's no show. That's the show. The floor is lava.
So,
It's in the title.
while we're talking about this, in like terms of escape room, as I mentioned before, this is a real shitty escape room. There's like one way to go, essentially. There's no like secrets for people. Like there are secrets, but they're like shitty. Like
I actually disagree. I think this show does a great job of giving you multiple ways to go.
I mean, it gives them a way to go, but I just don't think it's very feasible to go different ways.
It's literally the only thing that distinguishes this from like Wipeout or Ninja Warrior or something is like the puzzle aspect of it. Like, or else it's just like
When the show started, like the host actually walks you through the room. This gets to somewhat of what Harrison was saying of like they don't let you discover it with the contestants. He's like pointing things out to you. But they talked about these different paths and actually thought it was the teams need to decide which path they all want to go down. So I was always kind of caught off guard when one person's going this way and one person's going that way, and I was like, oh, they're all splitting up every time instead of just like, let's pick our path we're going to go on together.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that so the team comes out and they see the room, and then it seems like they hear a voice over the speaker that's like here you go, like as you know the floor is, and they all go lava, and then they just like start going into the room, but there's no discussion of strategy, and they don't really like take any time to plan out like which way looks best. It's like they all immediately just go off in different directions.
Yeah, and they're all three teams. One person goes on the bug wall, like immediately. They're like, "Oh, this you must pull this rope thing because that seems important." And it's literally not important. Should not have done.
Well, I think it's almost that like they see the little ledges, and they're like they've definitely gotten. I don't know whether they're just like they're trained in some CrossFit stuff, or they've like been told by the producer, like they see them, they're like, oh, that's a way to go. I should try to go, and like someone's like, I should try and go and investigate that path. Is what I assume is happening. They just clearly there's ledges there. That's a way to go. But you're right. I think if I was in that position, I would spend more time trying to observe what are the different options, which seems to be the best way to go. I don't know.
It definitely seems more stressful too. Like you're supposed to be timed, and it's like you're not given a whole lot of view of the room initially. Too, you only can see around certain things.
Would it be better if you had to go multiple ways? Because like you know, the example where they get the staff and they need the staff to open the arc, like. If you don't send someone every way, you won't get all the different pieces you need to help each other out and make it. Because it seemed like there was no reason why you had to go the bug Easter Island way if it just made for some great TV of people getting their face smashed in when they tried to jump.
Well, I think that's the whole point, right? Like, I think the reason, because initially I thought the same thing. Like, why are these people splitting up? But then, if you go by, like, there's like 3 rules of the show, right? Like, one of the rules is the floor is lava. Rule is get from the entrance to the exit. But the third rule is that everything in the room can be used. And so I think when you're starting out, you sort of want to explore the room. And so if you see some varied routes, it seems like to your advantage, at least start down those routes, see which ones may be harder or softer, or what like things you find for the puzzle aspect. I think that's kind of like the whole reason to split up.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
It seems like you wouldn't have gotten across the room unless you sent someone down the bug passageway to stand on that block where the staff goes into. Because it seemed like nobody could jump from the pyramid to where the staff goes into on the Ark of the Covenant. I don't think
It's not true. The last group didn't go that way. They like backtracked.
I
Yeah.
guess
They started that way and they went back, and 2 of them got on the arc, even though not from the Easter Island path. So it was possible. We don't know if it's possible to get all 3 because someone had to go in the pyramid to knock down the obelisk, and no one survived the pyramid. Everyone who went to the pyramid died in lava.
The last group figured out, though, how to actually make the pyramid almost possible in using the painting to go from the pyramid to the obelisk. Without that, I definitely would have thought, like, no, the pyramid's like a total trap. It seemed impossible.
And, like, so the other thing that was super frustrating is in the first group, the girl is on the pyramid and she's slipping and she's like, "Mom, I'm slipping off the pyramid again," whatever. And so they get the staff to the mom who's standing on top of the ark, and she's just trying to wail at it like just baseball swinging, like, and it's just clearly not going to work. Like, I think that if she maybe just kind of pressed it against and tried to apply some leverage instead of just taking swings at it, I actually could have hit it down. And then in that case, you don't even need to have anybody on the pyramid. Maybe you need to pass the staff or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I still wonder how, if the daughter hadn't sacrificed herself to push down the obelisk, could she have gotten off the pyramid at all, or was she doomed either way? But like, it was a great moment of Bryce telling her, "You need to sacrifice yourself to push down the obelisk." And then the show just like, she leaps and pushes it and goes into the lava, and then she's just gone. That was my favorite part of the whole show.
She's honestly like the MVP out of everyone on there. Like, she pretty much enabled her family to win that thing. Like,
So spoiler alert, they won. They have 2 people that made it to the end. Then we have,
Minutes and 49 seconds.
thank you. We have the next group of people, which were triplets.
this show loves teams that came from the same womb. I think that's just, they just love that concept. Had the twins in the first round, the triplets in the second round.
Important distinction: the twins were not identical twins; these were identical triplets.
Oh.
But the
I do-
hairlines were different.
The hairlines were different.
I think
I do have
every
one
show
minor
likes
addition
it.
from the first group that I want to mention. So at the end, we have Bryce is at the end, and the mom is like coming across on the net, and she gets Bryce grabs her and pulls her to the end. And there's a quite obvious like accidental boob grab that was hilarious. You could just see like both people really uncomfortable, and then quickly try to backtrack and forget that it all happened. But now we have videotape of it, and if I were Bryce's friend, I'd be making fun of him the whole time.
You make that screenshot your Facebook profile picture, Chris, if you knew Bryce.
Maybe. Every like group invite I send out, it might be the header photo. Like, party at my house. And Bryce, remember this photo? Yeah. So the triplets. Their names were, I guess I didn't write down their names. Never mind. They were all wearing American tank tops. James, do you approve?
Well, I don't think that calling it an American tank top kind of does it justice. To be clear, it was an American flag tank top. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like that wasn't obvious. I wasn't getting it, so I wanted to help out there. These tank tops are amazing, and I feel like we almost have to choose one of these tank top shops for the cover because 4th of July is around the corner. It just feels very theme and holiday timing appropriate.
Max got us a good screenshot while we were watching.
There's
And
a
I'm
couple
pretty
good
sure the tank
screenshots.
tops are involved.
So they did not make it. They have 0 people across.
Chris,
And,
you left out the key part. These guys are horrible people.
Oh my god. Like, no, they just thought they were funny and they were not at all. Like, okay.
They were
so,
just some gym bros, and they needed to die in lava, and they did. And as soon as they were done the intros, I'm like, I want these people in the lava. And I got my wish.
It was also very satisfying because the way these boys died, there were some hard hits. This one guy goes down and he like bashes his whole arm and elbow. This other boy jumps on one of the Easter Island sculptures and just hits his butt really hard in a way that like didn't look like you could possibly land it. Like, they hurt themselves.
he very vocally said, "She's eating my butt."
The one fall where he hits his
First
elbow
off,
is
it's
my
eating
favorite
ass.
What?
This is a PG Netflix show, Max. You can't have that.
Maybe they dubbed it in afterwards.
Yeah,
I
my
will say-
favorite fall was the guy. He just hit his elbow, and they took a second and did like classical music and showed it like 4 or 5 times. That might be the highlight of the show.
And I hope that wasn't a concrete stair, because that dude fucking wrecked his arm on there. That arm might be broken if that was concrete.
I don't think it was.
Yeah,
But
concrete stairs don't
feel
disappear.
that bad for that guy falling because when he jumped on the cargo net
Oh yeah.
apparatus, he just started doing pull-ups for no reason.
So cocky.
And I've never seen somebody with the inability to understand the concept of how to generate momentum in swinging. You gotta swing your feet, dude. He was just trying to swing his hands, and his feet were stationary. He wasn't moving at all. He couldn't generate any momentum. What was that? That was the worst thing I've ever seen. This guy, like, did he not go to a playground his entire life?
He skipped leg day.
He does not know how to swing his legs at all. Dead weight.
That was my favorite moment.
Oh yeah.
Because him falling also meant that they lost because they didn't have anyone to wheel the other guy across. So
Well-
that was it.
Technically, they still had 2 alive, but then the guy in the pyramid fell in the lava 5 seconds later.
Something like that.
These guys also step into the room, and one of them goes, "It's like Night at the Museum." And Harrison said, "That's their only museum reference?" I'm like,
Max, I have a question for you.
Hit me.
Who is worse, the Gym Bros or the host?
Gym Bros.
Rob,
Definitely Gym Bros.
Noah,
The Gym Bros.
is anyone with the host? I feel like the host is worse.
I feel our host is with the host.
No, I think the host is worse. I think the Gym Bros are better.
Oh, you're wrong.
I think they are.
No, here's the thing. The host felt scripted, knowing his brand of humor. This is not his jokes. Those Gym Bros, that was all them.
Yeah,
So
100%.
it's okay because he didn't write his jokes.
Yeah. If Netflix says, I'll pay you $2 million to say whatever I want as long as it's not racist, I'd say, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think what makes it worse is the announcer's writing is meant to be like family friendly, like just kind of bland mayonnaise jokes. Where the bros, they really thought they're funny. Like they're not trying to be bland. They're like, oh man, this is gonna be great. And
Yeah, that's why I liked it. It felt more honest. It felt like real people.
Like, it definitely didn't feel as much like they were hamming it up for TV. Like, I just think that that's just how these guys are. Like, that just seems like the way that they live.
I just think that the host is that bad. Like, I did not, to be clear, I do not like the Gym Bros. They were not funny. I would not want them to be the host. They were just better than the host. Before people start writing in and saying that I'm an idiot.
we're gonna get a lot of hate mail this week.
Not a hate mail. Don't send me any hate mail. Yeah, so should we go over the last throuple? We've got the pastors. Johnny, Katie, and Danny. They all are youth group pastors. And they make 2 people make it to the end, but not faster than our first group, and they lost. And there's not a whole lot to say about them.
Why did Danny seem like he was 30 years older than the other 2?
Because I think he was older. He was like the boss of the other 2.
He
Oh,
was the boss, yeah. At like the church they
I think
worked at.
he could be 20 to 30 years older than the other guys. The other 2 for sure.
Yeah, probably around there.
He dyes his hair, makes him look probably a lot younger than he actually is.
I do like for the priests, all the jokes had like a religious little slant to them. They're like, oh, they're hanging on a prayer. You know, that was a nice little touch.
The people on the internet can't see me roll my eyes, So I'm gonna roll my eyes. Yeah, I mean, so this comes to my issue with the show is I really liked like the first group because I get to learn about the room, see what's going on. Even though the room I thought was kind of boring, but by the third group, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm here because I like the room, the aspect of the room, and see how people go across it. When all three teams do the same exact thing because the room is only designed to go essentially one way. This is boring.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like it'd be better if there were like multiple stages.
Like,
I think the fact that you only get to see one level is kind of tough. I think the fact that you didn't get to see a lot of variety and people attack that is a little bit tough. Like, I was waiting for somebody to pop that staff off the wall and use it like a pole vaulting thing to just get to that exit. I want something like that to happen. I don't know.
But now that we sort of know
lava.
I don't know if that's allowed. I feel like you can't plant it in the lava because that's also what I thought was going to happen. And then we see that they lose a painting in the lava, so I feel like they can't prop in the lava.
Damn.
What do you think is going to happen with lava, Harrison? It's just going to, like, be like, oh, cool, I can Indiana Jones across this thing? Like, I don't think so.
I mean, you might have like a second to use it in lava, but it's going to crumble pretty quick.
It's going to go pretty quick, but you got to make that quick move.
Yeah, one part
lava.
One part of the show, which I think they could have done a lot better, they did like a trail map view going over the stage. I think it would have been a lot cooler if they just had like a Green Man suit guy, like kind of like go through it and actually show what they're doing. Kind of like in Legends of the Hidden Temple, to kind of give a nod to last week. Where in Legends, they would actually like, go through the maze and show you where the different like ghouls were. I think that would have been a lot better to understand all the props.
Maybe
I don't want to know about the props before they go in. I want to learn about the props by them being in the room.
But what if
I know about the room before they go in?
know?
The show's boring.
I think there should have been more secrets and pitfalls in the room. Because, like, there wasn't enough stuff, and everything that was, like, kind of hidden was, like, so obvious that everybody discovered the same things. But I think it'd be very funny if there were, like, certain blocks that you just, like, jump on and, like, collapse into the lava or something. Like, some things that you wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah. My whole feeling with the show is if the rooms were this easy, I needed to see different rooms for every team.
Yeah.
Like, one room, or make it way more complex, where there's different pitfalls, there's way different ways to go, not just one way. And maybe it's like, oh, this team like goes and searches the whole room, but that's too like there just isn't enough variation to watch three different groups of people do the same course over 20 minutes. It's just
to run a counterpoint, we compared this show to Ninja Warrior. In Ninja Warrior, you're seeing person after person run the exact same course. Yeah. And it's pretty compelling. And what this show did, Ninja Warrior doesn't do that, preaches. Ninja Warrior loves to take a 15-minute break and talk about someone's backstory and talk to, and this is what's going on with their life and all that stuff. This show was shockingly just like, it's just about them getting through the room. And like, once the third team is done, there's like 1 minute where the host tells the one team they won, hands them a lava lamp, and we're out. Like, it's really pretty quick about just being like, the only thing we're going to show you is them trying to get through the room. And, like, it's not like Ninja Warrior, you see like 20 people trying to do the same course. This show, it's like, you see 3 people go through the course reasonably quickly. Like, I remember when the first team was done, I was like, I think I have time to get through all the people in this thing. Like, I feel like there's not enough show. And it's just because they're really focused on just showing you get through the room. So I did kind of like that part of it.
I mean, you're right. I also think that Ninja Warrior gets incredibly boring because they do the same thing every time. Although, I agree, it is more compelling than this because I think that it requires actual skill
Oh, yeah.
to do the Ninja Warrior things, where like this is like, how puzzle solving can you be? And there is some skill, it's just, I don't know, it just isn't that as compelling.
Like, he just didn't have enough puzzle solving and more of just, can you jump from A to B?
Yeah. It definitely kind of fell in this weird middle place where, like, it's not physically impressive like Ninja Warrior, but, like, it doesn't have enough, like, good falls, like Wipeout, to, like, make it make sense in that way. and like the puzzles aren't really hard enough. So like it's just not really bringing any kind of like unique entertainment like in that way. I don't know.
It's so safe.
Yeah.
That's the word I could say about the show. Does anyone have any other minutia they really want to talk about?
Do we think this is a game show and not a reality show?
We called it a game show the first minute of the show. So yes.
I don't know. I think it straddles the line.
Like,
Because it's like physical.
What?
Like, if there's a physical challenge, is that normally a game show? Game shows are normally like, hey, you answer this question, or like, you do some very menial tasks, or like, I don't know.
Well, I think we just talked about how it's not the same kind of physical challenge that something like Ninja Warrior is. So arguably it is more of a game show because it's
I'm
something
not
that
saying
you don't need special training to be able to do.
It's the exact same fucking show as Jedi Temple Challenge of the Jedis. That's a game show. This is a game show.
I just think it's leaning game show, but I wouldn't put it outside our purview of reality shows, where I would put like Jeopardy outside of our purview.
Jeopardy made
Jeopardy is a game show.
It's like I don't know, it's just like you just don't really spend enough time with the people and really get the stories like to get the kind of reality show. Like I think if they had changed it where it's like they followed the same team of three through like 3 different stages, and I think maybe there's more of a case because you develop a little bit more of a relationship with these people, you hear a little more about them. I don't know, but it feels pretty game showish to me. It's like Double Dare without the trivia.
I was thinking this is Double Dare too.
Yeah.
This for some of y'all for hear me say this is I think this would be a much better 40-minute show with multiple rooms and like more of like 2 teams go to the next round and then the one team goes to the end and they could do some super extreme Floor is Lava course. Like a extreme Floor is Lava course would be insanely compelling. Like we've done that in how many shows with like, we got that Stone Cold show, which I love. That's that show. That was the Jedi Temple show last week, where it's just like 3 different challenges, and the last challenge is supposed to be really hard. Like that's what I wanted. I don't want people cookie cutter Floor is Lava like courses.
Or
the final room, so like when you exit the lava room, and then there's another lava room, but only the people that make it then get to do like a battle royale, like a crazier lava room, then you got something.
Oh yeah.
Like in Nick Arcade, in the final round, they had they got to like the boss level. That's what kind of I'm envisioning. If anyone remembers Nick Arcade,
no one remembers Nick Arcade.
I 100%.
I remember Nick Arcade. Get the fuck out of here.
I wanted to be in that video game. I wanted to go in that green screen room and jump and hit the coins and be in that video game, Chris.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Basically, at the final stage of Nick Arcade, the winning team of 2, only the winning team of 2 gets to go to this stage. And I'm not sure if one or both of them goes in. I think maybe both of them. They go into, like, you don't really get to see it. They go into some crazy green screen sort of room that has some platforming kind of stuff. But then when they show it to you, it looks like they're just in this video game. They're jumping and getting coins and they're platforming around and stuff. It's pretty sweet.
yeah, they swapped out. Yeah, so like one person in the green screen room at a time.
I think
Maybe in our next throwback month we can watch it. I don't know. Although it sounds like a game show. So
honestly, what this show needs, this show just needs the competitors to be kids. Like, I think that if you make the competitors kids, I think that you might have a whole different angle to this thing.
more.
Harrison wants to see kids burning in lava.
You weren't here last week. No thanks.
Was that the Jedi Temple?
And that's pretty much Jedi Temple.
Like, if you want that, just watch Jedi Temple.
So I obviously need to see that show, but I just feel like these little teams of 3 kids working together could be pretty cute. I don't know.
You should go back and watch Guts. I think that's the show you really want.
I love Guts. I love Legends of the Hidden Temple. I love Nick Arcade. I just want to bring some of that flavor into here.
Here's the thing, though. I can't imagine Guts holding up today as an adult. Like, sure, when you're a 10-year-old, Guts is probably great. But, like, as a, 20-something, 30-something-year-old, I bet it doesn't hold up.
Max.
Would the show be better if everyone were naked?
Are we still talking about a Nickelodeon show?
No, we're talking about the show we just watched, The Floor is Lava.
I don't know if those falls would go great at me.
That pyramid would be a lot of bad.
There's a lot of bad naked in this show.
Oh, 100%. That's why it was funny to ask.
James, you should listen to the pod last week. We talked a lot about Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple because it was very apt for our discussion last week.
Will do.
But I think we're ready. Max, do you have a thing?
We need a break from this kind of show, but you do have to watch NXT Most Extreme Elimination Challenge at some point.
Do we?
I mean, that's even more not a reality show because it's all scripted and fake, but it's so good.
It's so good.
Hard pass. You can do it without me.
That's okay.
Okay.
It is a bottom third and then leave me off the pod. That's how much I hate that show.
Definitely not a big fan of that show either, but that's definitely like the grandfather of all these kind of shows and Wipeout and everything.
Yeah. But we don't do Wipeout either because I also don't like that. So I try to veto that every time we try to do that. Didn't we do Holy Moly though? I feel like that's like.
I don't think we did.
Maybe you just ended up watching it.
It was in your dreams, Chris.
It was in my dream. All right, let's get the ratings. I'll go first. I'm going to give this, probably contrary to how I've sounded this whole podcast, but I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm compelled. I want to see the next room, but I might not watch like everyone or like fast forward. It's like not compelling for 20 minutes, which is a 20-minute show. But
Chris, I have to break it to you. This was a 40-minute show, and time flies when you're having fun. So I think maybe you were having some fun with the show.
Yeah.
I mean, like as I said, contrary to how I've been acting, I'm like
35-minute show, to be clear.
25?
35.
It was 35. Yeah. I guess I was having more fun. I thought it was only 20 minutes. Maybe. Anyway, I'm going to stick it in the middle. That's where it goes. Rob, what do you got?
I have what I think might be a controversial opinion. This show's great. I'm in. I like it's got some like we talked about how it's like Harrison presented the legitimate alternate case of it tries to be a bunch of different shows and fails to be all of them. I liked like Ninja Warrior is fun, but I feel like it's a 2-hour commitment and there's so much filler where they're not running the course and they run the same 30 people run the same course. I see the course 3 times. It's just about running the course. It's a 40-minute show and I'm out. There's no commercial breaks. I think it's a better version of that. It's a great, as Chris likes to say, it's a great background show. And it's a show that could definitely be improved. And maybe part of me is like thinking maybe they'll get better in future episodes. I'll be back. I'll watch more. I'll be like, it just kept getting worse. It's no good. But I'm putting in the top. And you, I don't care what you say.
All right. Noah, what do you got?
Yeah, similar to Rob, but not as bullish. I'm putting it in the middle, but top of the middle. I think the show has a lot of promise. I would put it in top if not the host, but the writing for the host was better. Yeah, the show moves. I think actually it's like really easy watching. It's very easy to watch with kids, and still be entertained. I would like if they gave us more background on the strategy and what they're telling the contestants, because clearly they're like feeding them some information. And also see like how hard those things are, because people are taking some nasty jumps and they actually don't seem that banged up by it, which is very conflicting. So yeah, top of the middle. I actually might watch them more.
James, what do you got?
Oh, here's the thing. I stand with Rob on this one. I'm in. This show is in the top. I think it's light. It's fun. It's just enough entertainment, and certainly I agree that there could be some improvements. But I think, like, overall, it was a fun 35-minute watch. I think the one particular thing I would like to see them improve is, like, a little more variation, which I think Chris's point of just, like, having some different ways to achieve it or not, but it's, like, different degrees of challenge. I think that would be really fun. But overall, it was great. I feel like I didn't have to think or really care too much about what the announcer was saying. You can kind of tune it out. I do think the show would be a little bit better without it. But having said that, fun, great show, and I would recommend watching it, and I will likely watch more. So, bottom of the top.
Harrison, what do you got?
Well, I mean, I definitely have a lot of complaints with the show, but I mean, I'm a huge fan of the obstacle course genre in general. I mean, it's like I feel like I'm coming into this with I'm already sort of predisposed to liking it and kind of wanting to like it. So I think that it's not so much that I dislike the show as I think that it isn't as good as it could be, and I think that I'm just a little bit disappointed that I don't know that there's just some things they could have done better. So I'm definitely curious to see another room and see what it looks like and check that stuff out. I'm definitely encouraged knowing that I'm not going to have to see the same room again in future episodes, because that'll help change it up. But so it's kind of riding between the middle and the bottom. But I'm going to put it just barely in the middle and see how they do for the rest of the season. I don't know.
Annabeth, what do you got?
I think this is a middle show for me. I really enjoyed it. I wish there were more puzzles. I wish there was a little more variation, but I really love the bit of the lava. I love watching people fall into the lava and disappear. That was very funny. I love the lava lamp trophy. I didn't really mind the narrator that much because I feel like I didn't listen to it at all. And I'll definitely watch some more.
It sounds like you want to change your answer to be top third. I heard.
I think top of the middle for me. That's what I feel.
Okay.
I'm not dying to watch another episode right now, but I like it.
Max, what do you got?
Middle third, middle of the middle. It was fine. I think it has potential. I think the current format is a little bit too slow. And Rutledge Wood needs to be fired, or the writers need to be fired.
Or both. All right. Well, that's there you have it. There's our review of Floor is Lava. Anyone have any updates? Well, we do have one big update. We have a Top Chef finish last week. So we have the winner of the Who Put This On Top Chef Fantasy League, which is Mr. Noah Singer, because Melissa took him all the way to the end. He won by 20 points or something.
He did.
Melissa won 5 out of the last 4 challenges.
Did you say she won 5 of the last 4 challenges? That's really impressive.
Yeah, she won a lot.
Harrison didn't win? I thought Harrison was set up to take this thing.
Close. I think I was close. Can you confirm if I was second? Third, maybe?
You were still in last place with 4.
Oh, man.
What was the point differential?
All right, I'll go over all the points. I think I have to pull up the spreadsheet.
I mean, I don't know if we need all of the points, but what do we Harrison to Noah? What kind of?
Well, Harrison definitely
0 points.
No, Harrison
points a long time ago, and you can't gain any points later. So here are the full point differentials. Noah's 58 points. I have 36 points. Annabeth has 35.5 points. Brian has 24.5 points. Max has 31 points. James has 8 points. And Harrison has 4 points.
Oh! That's rough.
I'll say second, third, fourth was really close.
54 point differential.
Yeah, second, third, and fourth were pretty close, but Noah, she won. Yeah, she won 3 out of the last 4, or 4 out of. She won 4 out of the last 4. She crushed it.
It was a really good season in Top Chef. It was just a really entertaining season. They made all kinds of good stuff. Really enjoyed watching it. It made me feel weird that people aren't eating at restaurants and stuff now, but it was good.
Harrison, has the show ever convinced you to try to make any of this stuff?
I've definitely never cooked any of the things that they've cooked on the show.
I'm just watching the season of Top Chef made me realize how much I dislike cooking shows.
Wow.
Even though I know I didn't like them before, I still just don't. I don't understand. I don't understand enough about cooking. I feel like I need to work in like a restaurant at some point or something. Like I just don't. I don't know how to connect with these people.
Chris, I could be wrong, but I believe you put Great British Bake Off in the top 3.
That
I can
is
confirm.
an exception because it's like regular people just like baking simple things. They're not like, let me use
Sure.
the foie gras on this fennel and like plate it this way in like 20 minutes. Like,
Dude,
no,
everyone
that's just like
foie
not
gras
all that
stuff.
interesting.
Say that 5 times fast.
Foie gras fennel.
You don't have to actually see that.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, Top Chef is definitely a little bit higher tier. It's not quite as high tier as like Final Table in terms of like skill level, but like it's good. They're doing a lot of good stuff.
I mean, they are near the top level. Like all of them have their own. Most of them have their own restaurants. At least at this season.
I think that I mean, like this season, Top Chef is definitely a little bit different because this is like an all-star season. So a lot of these people kind of already have their own businesses and restaurants and stuff. But I feel like the sort of regular seasons of Top Chef are a lot more compelling because like this is really like a make or break opportunity for a lot of these people, and like there are just all these like unknown chefs that are kind of like up and coming that they've sort of found. And it like it feels like a much bigger deal to them. Like this one's just kind of like, hey, these people have already all been successful. It kind of doesn't really matter that much, like who wins or whatever, because they're all doing fine.
At least the majority of them are doing fine.
Seems like.
The challenge is still going on. We're still. I mean, we don't do normal challenge updates, but
I think
it's
that
a lot of drama recently.
yeah, I mean, so the whole situation with them editing D out of the show is pretty wild. I mean, like, I'm not sure that there's ever been, I've ever really seen like a more clear example of like the power of reality show editing. It's like you watch that show and you can't tell that she's in the show. Like they've done
Like,
editing.
she's been in the tribunal at least once, possibly twice in a row.
Oh yeah,
And she gets like 2 lines an episode, maybe less. It's insane.
it's amazing how they've edited her out. It's wild.
She's ruined her social media influencer career.
Yeah.
So she's not totally out. So she still sort of pops up briefly in each episode.
Well, it's like you will see maybe like they're running a challenge and you'll see kind of her like out of focus in the background, maybe just the back of her head, or like you will hear like in the latest episode she only had 1 line, and that was because they had to have the line because she had to vote in like the tribunal. So they had this 1 line where she just said somebody's name, not even on camera, and like it's just nuts.
I wonder how long that's going to go.
For the rest of the season.
Until she's out.
Until she's out, yeah.
Well, I mean, I
What if
assume
she
they're gonna
wins?
try to do that. I
What
just
if she
don't know
wins?
How effective it's
That's a great question, Rob.
It's harder and harder the farther they go, for sure.
I mean, she's probably making the final, I imagine.
Seems
She
like
has
it.
a red skull. She has multiple.
And she just beat somebody else out, so why would they push her back into the elimination?
I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see, I guess.
I do not like that they picked a bunker for the setting of the season because it just, I want them to be in a nice, fun vacation house. Could be a little bit of an escape from the quarantine situation, but they're also in quarantine. Not great.
Yeah, it's great.
Harrison, how's that redemption house?
Man, there might still be a secret redemption house. We don't know yet, but they could reveal it soon.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Anyone else have any shows they want to talk about before we?
Yeah, I may have mentioned this last week, but I started watching this show that's been on Netflix for a while called Dark, which is like a sort of German time travel, Twin Peaks, small town murder type thing. It's unbelievable. It's so good. I finished season 1. Great stuff.
I also liked it, and season 3 comes out soon, like this week.
Saturday, yeah.
I have watched another episode of Undercover Billionaire.
Ooh.
I have more notes, but I'm not sure Max wants to be spoiled on.
Give me the magic hand signal.
Well, we'll just talk about it now, and we'll signal you back in. Yeah, there's some nuts stuff happening in this show. Like, this dude just gets people to do work for him for free. Like, I'm so confused why these people are doing any work for him. Like, he gets this whole team of people to help him rip all the carpet out of this house. You're like, what?
That's the
You pay
American
these people?
dream, Chris. You get people to do work for you for free so you can become rich. Is that how that works?
Yeah, apparently. And now he's trying to start his $1 million business idea is a restaurant. That's it. That's his $1 million business idea.
Oh, it's not a brewery, now it's a restaurant. $1 million restaurant? That seems crazy.
That's his idea.
But like this, to come back to like,
A barbecue restaurant, and he wants it to be like an empire where he opens all of these all over the country. Like there aren't beer and barbecue restaurants similar to that everywhere.
I do wonder how, like we talked on the pod about the fact he has a camera crew with him. Does that help him? I wonder if it's easier to get people to do stuff for you for free if you're like, yeah, this is all going to be like filmed and as part of some show or something. Like, oh yeah, I'll help you out for a little while and stuff. Where if you're just some random dude,
Gotta be. I mean, it's the same reason why, like, when people are like on like The Amazing Race, they'll get some dude to like follow him for 2 hours and like help give them directions in like Jakarta or whatever. You know.
I imagine. Remember that guy in the first episode that had that print shop?
Yeah.
Like he asked him to go find him somebody to run the barbecue restaurant. Like and he's like doing it. And I'm just like, you have another job. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this for this guy for no money?
did he find any more giant tires or no? Is that
No, he's past the giant tire phase.
Oh.
He's in the flip this house for seed money.
Oh, did he flip the house?
He didn't flip the house yet.
He didn't flip the house yet. He's still working on that.
Still
Okay.
working on this. But Max needs to catch up so we can watch an episode a week and we can go over the craziness of Undercover Billionaire.
All right.
I think that's it though, right? Like, do we have anything else to talk about?
Heard you
No,
say
you
I
don't
have
have
to
any other
catch up.
crazy shows?
Nah, I've been watching Watchmen, which I don't think really is much to talk about here. It's kind of not old. Yeah, very popular.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. And you can find us on Twitter at @WhoPutThisOn. You can find us on Facebook.com. /WhoPutThisOn. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Chris, what is the floor?
Lava!